Hey guys, today I wanted to discuss actually everything that's been going on lately. It seems like a lot of people online are talking about getting out of the Dow crash or something. I remember back in 2008, we were watching the Dow pretty closely and just the stock market in general. And we saw a lot of dips. So if you're in, it's a gradual thing. It's not like in one day it went from 12,000 to 7,000 or whatever. It was in big chunks, 300 down, 400 down, 600 down. So you had time to get out if you were in. And I think the biggest thing that I learned, because I got out in the beginning, so I didn't get any of the losses. I think I lost a total of like $60 or something like that. But it was not jumping back in was my problem. So it was funny that, over the history of, I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that, but just in general, it's kind of hard to predict what it's going to do in advance. Does the market seem overinflated? Of course. Is the market set for a big correction? I think so. Is it coming anytime soon? I don't know. But I was actually in cash for a little while. I jumped in and jumped out and made a little small gain. And I'm like, well, what am I doing in cash earning 1%? I mean, if that money was in my checking account or savings account, I would earn about the same. But it wasn't until I saw this video online that said, get out of the Dow by April 27th. And it was so specific in date. And I was wondering why whoever put it out there chose that date. Nobody could predict on the actual day what it's going to do. You have a good general sense, but so I was sitting in cash, and then when I saw that video, get out by April 27th, I got in on April 26th. And, it was kind of risky, but at the same time, I'm like, well, if it does take another turn, I can always get out the next day. So I think I got another 10 years that I want my money in the Dow or in the stock market, mutual funds. So I'm not going to do anything too drastic. Today was the jobs report and everything, and I got out. It's better to get out on an up day so you sell at a higher amount rather than getting out when it's down, because then you're taking a loss. So I got out and I put it in cash and everything, and I'm just going to write it out and see what it does, Yeah, I think I could have earned quite a lot during this crazy time, but I'm not that risky with it. Back in the day, yeah, I would risk a lot more, but now I'm just playing it safe. So that's my take on the stock market right now. So just in general, there's a lot of communication, a lot of videos about, subscribe to this and I'll give you this, or just in general. The biggest thing, save your money. If you have subscriptions, cancel them all. Cancel all your subscriptions. Maybe except for the internet, because you kind of need to have access to some kind of communication. But other than that, the gym membership that you probably don't go to as much, work out at home, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, run. Like, come on. What? I would never suggest somebody, hey, sign up for my subscription and everything like that. And it's only going to cost you $30 a month, but I'll tell you how to become wealthy. Like, no. They're going to become wealthy because you're paying that subscription. So I say cancel all your subscriptions and then wait on it a couple months. And if some things are harder to stay away from, then get your subscription back or whatever. But it's so unnecessary. people are losing track of where their money is going. And, you know, let's just say you have no money in the bank. Right now, grab a pen, grab a paper, and write down an amount on a sheet of paper. So if you have zero, write down 500. You write that $500 down and put it somewhere where you see it every day. So if you are working and your check comes in, you're looking at this $500 goal, and you have nothing in the bank, it causes you to think differently. The moment you write it down, you think differently. That's the importance of it. So I put a goal on the whiteboard. Suddenly I just started thinking differently. With a smaller check coming in and a larger check, what worked in my situation was paying as much as I could with the smaller check and saving as much as I could with a larger check. But it's funny that, when you write it down, your mind just is going over ways of trying to say, what can you cut back on? What can you spend on? And spending is just not even an option. Now, the people that have been working from home ever since this pandemic started, there's no excuse not to save. I understand that you're staying home more, so you're probably eating more food, but you can still budget. Go to the grocery store as much as you can. I think that was my biggest thing, though. So that if I can offer any type of information, it would be that. If you have nothing, put a goal down and then work towards that goal. And then just keep increasing the amount. You reach it a lot quicker, then set a new goal and reach that. You gotta have some type of savings. You have to continue to navigate, and hoping for the best on your next pay is not going to work. If you are out of work, it's the same thing. When the unemployment check comes in, and I know it's barely enough to even get by, but if you don't stick a little bit aside each time, you're always going to be in that same rut, that same situation. I think it was about 2 years ago, prior to the pandemic, I left the job. I left the job without having one. And I don't know if that was part cockiness or what, but I was like, I'm highly skilled in the marketplace. There's no way I'm going to be out of work long anyways. So I didn't calculate it right. I didn't earn enough PTO. I thought I had more booked than what I actually had. So I left my notice, and then my final check was like less than half with no PTO because I burned him. And even then, I was like, okay, I can just recover from this. No big deal. I sent out a lot of resumes. I was actually talking to somebody around that time. But of course, you can interview all you want and everything, but they got to call you back. That's the biggest thing. So month one, I was out of work. Bills were piling up. Had to take out loans to pay bills. Then I was taking a credit card cash advance to pay other bills, to turn around and pay the cash advance back. And it was just a vicious cycle. And why I didn't have savings then, I don't know. Why I left the job was because it wasn't paying enough, and I tried my best to stick it out. And it was a long, commute. It was about like 65 miles round trip every day. And I just felt like I was getting further and further in the hole going into work. So if you have a situation like that where the more you go in, the further you're in debt. You got to cut the cord. That doesn't make any sense. But month 2, still nothing. And it was getting bad. By month 3, I was getting desperate. I was at this point where I was taking any job. And, this one labor force agency was calling me for like manual labor stuff. And I'm like, really? I have a brain here. I can, do more with my brain than I could lifting stuff. But they didn't know how else to utilize me, and I needed something. So they sent me out to some jobs and everything, and that's another thing too. If you have to work by lifting, and you're lifting all day, and let's just say you can't lift anymore, then what? Well, the job expects you to continue to lift. I remember I went to this Coke distributor or bottle distributing company. I don't know if anybody's gone there before. I've been there, done that on the workout thing. I've been working out since I was like 14 years old, all the way up till I was about 44. Just constant, 30 years of working out. I didn't miss more than 3 days. And it's funny too, because going to that job, we had to lift beer, whether it was 6 cans or 6 bottles, 12 bottles, 24 packs, and it was off of a pallet. So you have to reach above your head to lift however many came into a pallet, maybe 100 cases in a pallet, into separate machines. They had the automated machines, but it only did so much. You still had to go and drop them. So I counted about 50 that I did in 10 minutes. Granted, I'm there 9 hours. So do the math on that. Like, that was horrible. By the first shift, I was like laying all over the boxes. It was an unbelievable thing. And I was so sore. Like, head to toe. I was completely sore. I didn't think I could make it the next day. The next day, going in, knowing that I couldn't really lift, I had to lift more. Now, the people that were working there, they were used to it. They were just knocking them out and everything. I'm an overachiever, so I was like trying to do more than I could, I guess. Didn't pace myself. And by the second shift, or the second 9-hour shift, I was like laying on top of the cases. Like, I was done. I could not go back. And it's the worst feeling when you're out of money and you can't lift anymore. You're stuck. So that was just like horrible. So then it would turn into month 4, 3, 4, 5 months of nothing. Trying to lift, going to several jobs, and going a day here, a day there, it just wasn't working. And that was just an experience that I would never forget. And that's another thing too. So if your back is ever against a wall where you're just like done, I remember the banks had to get bailed out around 2008, and the banks now are like sitting on billions of dollars. They were, in their mind, of course, they're going to be like, well, we're the banks, so why would we have to get a bailout? We'll just sit on the money. So that's the mindset I had to take. All the bills were continuing to come in, and I had nothing to myself. So at some point, I had to put myself first. So put that savings aside, by all costs, whatever it takes, and then work on paying down your bills. The bills should not come before you. You have to manage it right, because I owed so much to so many that, just like that Dave Ramsey program I was on, I did the snowball thing, the smallest debt. If I had a $200 balance, once I finally got a job, which was like a godsend, I didn't think I was going to get it. I got it. And then when the payments started coming in, I made sure to pay off the smallest ones. So $200 balance here, done. $300, $400 balance. I did that quite a bit. And so once I did that, I saved a little bit more. As I was saving, I was paying more down. I do have a couple of larger balances and everything, but they're going to get their money eventually. But you have to look out for yourself. With all this go online and make money online and everything like that, I've even been there, done that. I've done the eBay thing. I've sold about like $9,000 worth of stuff. Um, Probably total commission, maybe about 3,000 in total commission over maybe a 5 year span. So that's horrible, actually. Um, because eBay, places like that, of course they just look out for themselves. They're a big platform. You know, it's not like Amazon where you have to store it in their warehouse or anything like that. There's no warehouse for the eBay. You just have your own. Well, they probably do now, but you're the warehouse. You're storing it at your own house and everything, taking pictures or whatever you're doing. You're taking pictures of images online and then hoping for the best that you can get the image or buy the product to make the sale. I never took those kinds of risks, but so I tried that, and the money was okay when nothing was coming in, but it got to the point where you have to keep track. I had an Excel spreadsheet keeping track of everything. And there were other people that were like, "Oh yeah, I make tons of money on eBay, Amazon, whatever." I'm like, "Are you keeping track? Do you know for sure?" It probably seems like you're making a lot because big money comes in, but how much did you spend on the product? How much did you spend on shipping? How much did you spend on fees? Taking that out each time, and then seeing what your profit is after. Some of the talk online is, hey, if your sales are slow, list more items. What? I had a store, a small eBay store, and I had about 300 or so items and everything. And yeah, you can see, more sales. The more you list, the more sales you get. But come on, if you start listing thousands and thousands of items and everything like that, it's going to be harder and harder for you to keep track of what your actual true commission is. You can put in the work and you can do it, either way. But for me, I wouldn't suggest it. You just have to keep track of your money. Whether it's subscriptions, whether it's listing, this whole takes money to make money. I've never liked that. Save. Save as much as you can. And once you have savings, then you can do something with it. But don't go into debt trying to do something because it's not going to work.